everyone, welcome back to the Drawing Life. I'm your host Ian. Today is Monday, which means it is writing day, writing lesson day. I give a few techniques on I give a few lessons on writing techniques and so forth every Monday and Thursday. I do a little bit of drawing on my channel, so make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos. Today we're going to talk about the God in the box. What is it and how can we avoid it? Now, we're not really going to be talking about the God in the box. Well, we're gonna use a different name for it, starting from now. We're gonna talk about something that is a problem that many people have, and it is also something that a lot of people have heard of, but they don't exactly know what it is, what it does, and why is it so unsatisfying and bad. We're gonna talk about the Deus Ex Machina. This is something, a problem that many writers have, screenwriters, writers, any type of writer, even me. I struggle with ending with a Deus Ex Machina. Now, I know many people don't know exactly what a Deus Ex Machina is. I cannot assume that everybody knows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little definition of the Deus Ex Machina, which is an unexpected power or event saving a seemingly hopeless situation, especially as a contrived plot device in a play or a novel or a movie, because that's more popular. I'm going to use movies as examples. Now, a Deus Ex Machina is basically, when the situation is basically hopeless, you have your hero, like, paved into the wall, basically, like, his back is against the wall, when suddenly, out of the blue, something happens and saves him, like, basically out of pure luck, basically, which is why it is so unsatisfying, and many viewers, like, storm out of the movie theater or something like that, and like, what? You ended like that? You could have done much better. That was horrible. So, I'm gonna give you a little bit of an example of a Deus Ex Machina right now, like this. So exactly like that, the Hobbit, the Bilbo's and his friends are all like paved into the wall, like their back is against the wall, so to speak, because like all these orcs are against them. They're outnumbered. They're doing that, and then so it's seemingly hopeless, right? But at the last minute, out of the blue, we had no idea these eagles even existed, but they came anyway and helped them out of this situation. So that was sort of a Deus Ex Machina. Even though it wasn't that unsatisfying, I still find that is a very good example of a Deus Ex Machina ending. Another example, which I'm not going to show in an actual video, is the Indiana Jones movie. They actually ended, I think, in a Deus Ex Machina ending. That's another good example of it. But we're gonna move on to some frequently asked questions. Does the Deus Ex Machina always have to refer to the supernatural? Like, does it have to be like a god that jumps out of the box? No. The second question, how do you avoid it? Now, the first thing I would do is to think ahead, which hold that thought in your mind. I'm going to talk a little bit about this later. Think ahead. Think about your ending. Make sure you have your ending in your head before you actually start writing. The next is also don't make the plot too complicated and complex. I usually don't have too much of a complicated plot. If you do have a complicated plot, try simplifying it a little, or maybe splitting it into different, like splitting it into different books or movies, basically. I don't know what you're doing, but yeah. A book or a movie, or just split it, maybe to make it less complex. That's one thing I would do. Now, what do you do if it seems to be the only solution? What if the Deus Ex Machina is the only solution? The only solution left is the God in the box. Well, you might need a God in the box to help you get the solution. All right, fine, scratch that. We need something more helpful than a God in the box. How about this? Think about how you can rewrite your Ex Machina scene to make more sense. What am I talking about? Making more sense? Now, in the movie Paddington 2, there's a sort of like an Ex Machina scene, but it makes sense. Watch out, there's going to be spoilers in the beginning, later on, for Paddington 2, so if you haven't watched that movie and you don't want to get spoiled, here's your last chance to click off this video or skip to when I finish with the Paddington 2 stuff. Anyway, this is the scenario. Paddington is drowning. He is trapped inside some sort of a vehicle or something like that, and he is drowning. He needs help, and his friend is trying to get him out, but it's not working. So Paddington is inside his vehicle and he's drowning until these guys came up and they all work together and get him out. But now this is a perfect example of a Deus Ex Machina, except it makes sense. Now, what do I mean by it makes sense? Now, we've established that these guys feel bad for abandoning him before. If you haven't watched it, you won't know what I'm talking about. But these guys abandoned him before, and they feel bad about it, so they want to come back and save him. It's not like out of the blue, these guys who we have never heard of just come and, you know, out of pure luck, these guys were looking, these guys were on the coast fishing, and they suddenly heard a splash, and there was something that happened, and they decided, oh, let's jump into our swimming suits and help this guy, this little bear out. No. It makes sense because we've established like a friendship between these two, between all these characters and him already. They just abandoned him for a little, so it looked like it was hopeless, but then it made sense. Now, remember what I talked about before about before I talked a little bit about this. The whole thing basically about thinking ahead. Now, what I would do about the thinking ahead is to create an outline before writing, you know, make sure you have an ending. But what the outline lets you do, these are two things, is creating an outline lets you have a bird's eye point of view of the entire plot, and you can see and you can let you spot the Deus Ex Machina endings before you put, you know, all your effort into writing. Like, you wrote all this, oops, oh dear, how do I go back and rewrite all this? It's gonna be a little bit complicated if you don't have an outline and you just like, oh no, I sort of like paid myself in the corner. The only solution left is to Deus Ex Machina. But if you have created an outline, you could sort of fix things before you actually start writing. And that is it for today's writing lesson. I really hope if you found it helpful. If I left out anything about a Deus Ex Machina, I try my best to think up things about how you can avoid this Deus Ex Machina, because it's really a very hard topic to talk about, especially how you avoid it. And if you have any questions or requests for future videos, leave a comment below, and visit my channel, and please subscribe if you don't want to miss any future videos. Monday is writing day, and Thursday is more of the drawing day, which is basically, this channel is called The Drawing Life, so that's basically what we're doing on Thursday. We're drawing stuff. Sometimes I do live streams, sometimes I do this. I occasionally do live streams, so subscribe for more of all of that. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next time.